It's time.
Oh boy.
We've arrived. We even got a co-caster in Grand Finals midweek muster number 8. I totally forgot to update the draft. We have got B versus Kiljardi in a best of 7, and it all starts here. Rus versus Ayyubid. Wait, is this a cow? I think this might be the first time we've got an Ayyubid pick on this map.
No, it's not.
Oh wait, that's true. It's the second time we've seen Ayyubid. We cannot forget Cow's victory over Lash in game number 1, where he picked HRE and Lash had picked Ayu. But outside that, I'm pretty sure that's the only time this week King of the Hill has seen Ayyubids.
I think so too, mostly because I think it's a bad pick on the map.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. I think it can work against Rus, mostly with the timing that Rus is going for nowadays, right? Which is double hunting cabin opening, which I think has been done here. Yeah, we can see the 2 dots there.
Definitely.
Nicely done. And then you just go fast castle, pro scout, horse archers, and horse archers into desert raiders and camel lancers doesn't feel that great. They still have a pretty high base damage. I think it's 12 on the horse archers, but it's -3, right, due to the camel and knees. So it doesn't feel as bad, but it doesn't feel as good either.
Yeah. The thing is, when you've got the camel lancers having 4 armor as well, you get the +1 undermesh naturally quite quickly. You basically end up in a situation where you mitigate 50% of the damage. The bigger problem comes when your opponent starts pumping out like knights as a potential answer. It sounds kind of terrible to do, but the logic is that you just want a front line. Boy's Fortitude makes them quite tanky. I also actually just love the idea of just instead going for a proxy racks build. Like, ironically, B could do something that Kiljardi done to Dumu in the semi-finals. Because in that series, Kiljardi opened with Rus versus Abba, and as he was teching up, he walked across the other side of the map and built racks as next enemy's base. If you do that, you don't have to play this obtuse camel versus horse meta. You can just flood MAA into the main base.
Yeah, the problem is Kiljardi, I'm expecting him to be aging up with the dervishes here. That's like the only thing that would make sense. Yeah, there is. So this allows him to do 2 things. It allows him to stay in feudal if that happens to be the case. Probably not going to happen because B probably just wants to be aging up quickly here with Golden Gate. And it also allows him with the castle timing to immediately take a sacred site and immediately secure the relics, which it's a really important tempo play to actually be considering on this map as well, right? Because it's not just like, hey, you're putting, like, you got the sacred site, cool, but it's also you're forcing your opponent out, and you're forcing your opponent to actually do something about a physical timer that's on your back.
Yeah. It's the other interesting thing actually in this particular matchup is that, you know, we usually talk about Ayyubids playing a slight part of the feudal age, doing a little bit of damage, teching up. If there was one person I could think of at the highest level that would just all-in fuel you for 20 minutes, this is the guy. Like,
yeah.
he still holds the record. I think the record to me was on Cliffside in a game where, as the Ayyubids, he had 70 archers in feudal age, and I was just like, this isn't how this is played. So, you know,
sir, you do not have composite bows nor military boot camp here.
I was like, have you chosen the right civ here? You're just basically playing poor man's Abba, but he finds ways of making it work. Like, we know Kiljardi is killing the name, killing the game. He doesn't like to hang around. I mean, legit, getting the series started, he was asking if he could start 5 or 10 minutes early because he's like, it's sleep time soon.
He's an old man. But yeah, so one of the things I actually wouldn't mind seeing here, as the pro scouts is coming in from B, is a stable drop. Make a couple of... I'm not sure if he wants to go Desert Raiders or Horsemen. I actually wouldn't mind the Horsemen just because of the movement speed against the Scouts. But you can't realistically deal with the Rus in feudal because so much of them is just passive income, right? The gold you have is passive income. And then the rest is just you just sell extra food. And if they're out on wood, they're probably going to have a wooden fortress, which, well, you can't really deal with anyways, so might as well just tech up. But he has 2 Desert Raiders and a single... How much is it?
That's going to take over a minute to produce.
Yeah.
What's the classic statement we like to say? If you have more than 2 units queued in the production building, build another. it comes down to whether he's going to add in more units. If it's just about 2 Desert Raiders and 1 Horseman, I can kind of forgive it. He does need to do damage with this, though. I think the logic in his mind is that this can kill the Pro Scouts. We actually saw how B was leveraging that in his semifinals against Elyona, where, realistically, if you do fund those Scouts, these Desert Raiders do 26 damage per strike.
Yep. So... This is interesting, though. So, he's still adding scouts here. He's making a lot of them. So he's going to go up to 6, and this is getting scouted, like, obviously, right? Like, he's aware where things is happening due to the fact that, like, hey, you can see what's happening throughout on the map, right?
Yeah.
But he actually is using the dervishes there as well to actually just stand on the deer pack to know where he is, and. Obviously, they don't fight back like warrior monks as Rus, but it's the information that's key here, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right? The scouting dervishes, which I like because the thought process here is you don't want to dive the TC. You'll just die trying to do it. This is the annoyance, actually, about Rus with Pro Scouts meta, is literally their entire economy can sit here, which is just broken, right? Like, it's fundamentally flawed. It shouldn't work that way. We've had games in the weeklies, like when Transhumance was the default map, Rus would not touch their gold vein for 18 minutes, which is insane, right, when you say that out loud. There's no other civ that can justify that. But Golden Gate plus the bounty does it. So with that in mind, there's no way you dive. So these guys are just here to pick up relics when you tech, scout in the meantime. So instead, he's just going to attack the deer locations, which, you know, usually when you're fighting, just have that doge at the heel. Do you really care about 1 damage per strike?
I'm trying to find out if I care or not, but I can't be arsed to figure it out.
I mean, maybe if you had 25 scouts when we were like old school animation cancelling release, but
yeah, maybe.
But ooh, wait, what? But
B. He's a little bit scared. He's a little bit scared.
No, why would? But you can just wall the short side.
He's scared. Okay, look, enemy has units.
He could set a record in the weekly here.
Yeah, that would actually be such a disgusting
that would
corner.
be, I think that could reach like 390. No cap. I can't believe this. You know, B's just looking at this one, he's like, that's too dirty. I can't do that to him. And like, I'd understand if he didn't have any defenses, but he has a wooden fortress here, and he can just short wall the gap. That's crazy. He even has wheelbarrow.
Wild. But yeah, Kiljardi is edging up now. He can't have the cheaper and faster wing, right? Because he actually aged up. But yeah, we got a growth, as per expected. So actually, I wouldn't say makes up for the difference in Pro Scouts.
No. It doesn't make up for the difference in passive.
No, that was where it was wanted to go, right? It does make it... Maybe
you're looking at 7 times, probably, let's say 45 would be generous, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting 325, 310, 320-ish. The problem is this high trade house is going to be what? It looks like we're going to end up about 215. And then you've got another 60 from the hunting cabins, right? So then, like, it sounds like you've actually evened them out. But remember, guys, you also get an extra 50 resources per minute from the Golden Gate. The maths on this civ is stupid.
Yeah, I really don't understand how you can justify any of this.
Wait.
So,
oh, I forgot. Don't forget, they also get the 10% of gold from food gathering.
Oh yeah.
We couldn't forget that. So yeah, it just when you actually dissect what the Rus have, it's hilarious that there was a point where we're like, oh, they're a sucky civ now.
Yeah, and so I wanna touch back to my points with the dervish and the timing you have of taking a sacred site, right? That is completely out of the window with the timing. Kiljardi is now edging up later, and the reason for that is he's investing so much. He was investing, I think he made 4 units, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but it slows him down quite significantly.
And it's like, did you get value out of it as well as the bigger problem? And, I mean, he killed 2 scouts, maybe?
He killed 2 scouts. He has gotten 2 relics now. Should be able to secure a 3rd, potentially even a 4th. So Still doesn't make up for it, but he does have a couple of stables now, so he does have the production buildings already at least. He has 3 stables, but he at least... He's queuing Lancers.
I mean, we were talking about this, right? Feels good against the Horse Arch for removing damage. My problem is whether you're going to have the quantity here.
I think you should. I mean, you see that damage, right? The problem is the movement speed and the kiting ability.
The other interesting part is actually, you know what B could do to just make these fights easy? And I'm kind of surprised Roost players haven't started doing it again. Do you remember the OG This Is Broken Roost build? Horse Archer Scout.
Horse Archer Scout.
Yeah. You just build a front line of scouts to tank the charge. Because that's the only problem I see here with what B's doing. What I don't like is that he's allowing his Horse Archers to just gradually get chopped down before he has Boys Fortitude.
It's an interesting idea. I like it.
What? Why is... What? Okay, that's very confusing. They do have the buff, but I think because they're negative damage still from the Camelonese, they don't glow. What?
Oh, this game at times, I love it.
I mean, like, that has to be so frustrating for a casual person. Like, actually, I think it's harder for Kiljardi because he probably felt like these units shouldn't have been hitting that hard.
Okay, so Kiljardi didn't know that units glow. Like, he was wondering why his Rus villagers was glowing.
Wait, what?
Because he didn't know that bounty causes them to glow.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that one is weird, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair.
But the crazier one is just what we saw in that fight. Like, so, little lesson for you. I think that, I don't know, we need to test that across the board. If you're negative on stats for a reason, I don't think you get your buff glow. Which is, I guess, kind of fair.
Kind of makes sense. You don't have the buff, right?
Yeah, you're still negative, right? You know? It's like someone investing in Intel 2 years ago and bragging that they've lost 40% of the value they invested, right? It's like, what?
Low blow, KP. Low blow.
Oh, was that you? Oof. My condolences, my friend. We do have Knights now coming in. So B is going for that build we talked about. Boy's Fortitude should be the next priority. That's when you just start to get this thick, fat line that doesn't care as much about the Camelonese. Because, yes, you have less damage, but you have so much more health.
And it's working perfectly for B as well, right? Look at what Kiljardi is making behind this. He's making archers, right? He wants to be making archers because he needs something to deal with the horse archers effectively and, you know, consistently. Archers is technically the answer to that, but when you have a front line of just pure knights, it doesn't feel as good anymore, and you can't really invest into crossbows either because you don't really have the income for it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have the Golden Age activated, you're a poor man's Abbasid, it's only 10% buffer. There's a raid coming in, though. This could be big. Camelot is just the idle time alone is really what he needs. He needs to find ways of slowing down B's escalation point. This is... what Roos is doing here is kind of like what Malians do. They need the numbers to justify the fight, whereas Kiljardi is playing that classic premium type comp. Sure, there's archers now added in, but it's all about whether the camels can carry him through this mid-game.
Yeah. And... he's able to do at least a little bit, right? It's... We touched upon it a little bit, where it's like, yes, horse archers are good versus camel lancers, but you need the APM and you actually need to be aware of them and babysit them effectively, right? Because you need to kite, and having these small raid groups that just hitting the backline is exactly what's happening right now. You need to declare up the camel lancer, and look at that. Like 3-4 horse archers just went down immediately because he's not kiting.
I mean, B, he's kind of losing track. It's kind of crazy, actually. This one Camelot on the backside has been writing a whole myth tale about himself. He finally does go down, but the other time, the drag detention, it's definitely starting to burn him a bit. And now we're seeing a bigger problem, right? Kiljardi got the wall up on the east side. The west side is getting one soon. Once these walls go up, this horse archer strategy starts to flop hard.
And Sultan's army coming in too as well now, or Sultan's Ascend, I think it's called. Oh, no, that's the DLC name. It's called Sultan something on Kiljardi, which means that these archers...
Mamalukes. It's weird.
Yeah, so... Yeah, so they're coming in now on the archers. The question is if it's going to have an effect in this fight at all. I think Killjardy is just taking a fight he can't really take right now.
I'm questioning this, man. He doesn't even have the full army. He's pushing into mass cavalry with infantry that aren't arriving in time. Complete mystery to the situation. Also, not enough respect being given to Warrior Monk's Blessing here. I see this so often at the moment. Same's Blessing is insanely powerful. +2 damage, +1 armor. That's a 3 damage differential that just went the mile in this engagement.
And I think Killjardy, he is a little bit... I think he's relying too much on the camel on east, but remember, with the glow discussion we had, it's completely negated this entire fight, right? Because of the warrior monks.
I mean, it's wild to see, and like, you know, this was pre-Boy's Fortitude. This is meant to happen when that tech comes in, right? Because then you're talking about 255 health to 210. Lancers don't just count because of unease anymore. And I'm getting uneasy about this game. Killjardy, he still has archers left, but at this point in the game, he has to be out on pocket economy. B is now not worried about the walls because he can just run straight down the center. Oh boy. I'm trying to march out of here, but Horse Archer's just a little bit too quick. So Killjardy, all that work to try and build a lead, he's going to find himself behind on villagers now. And I don't think this is going to slow down. I mean, Killjardy, yeah, you can whittle away these Horse Archers, but the fact is, B is just going to have the ability to reproduce at a much more rapid pace.
And by the way, did you remember that Killjardy got 8 free villagers?
No, well, I think it was 7, but wait, maybe you get -5 now with that tech choice?
Not sure.
I must be. It's the only reason I can understand why Killjardy would be behind by 6 villages against the Rus.
I mean, this is just so brutal, right? The knight front line that B has right now is like completely negating everything. By these horse archers, the base damage they have is just so insane. Able to take down everything and being able to break through the wall. He doesn't have anything else, right? And you can't really do a sneaky move out on some deer either because they were just taken away. Boar is not an option because you're Ayyubid. Needs to wall up and wait. B actually stole some of those deer.
Of course he did. He's like, oh, you gonna eat this? Oh, okay, no, don't worry. We'll make good with it. The little scavenger that is. B actually moving up now with the villages.
He's taking that boar. He's taking that boar, isn't he?
Well, really?
He has to be.
There's an outpost right here that he knows about. For God's sake. Wait, let's do the wooden fortress first. We're not being greedy about this. I mean, he can definitely afford the extra resources pumping into that. He has, what, 300 passive gold? He's sitting at, I think, about 460 passive gold a minute. Probably more, actually, at this stage. Jesus, this is... Why no sight cap? Because Killjardy is an old man, and it is past his bedtime. So B's like, no rush. No rush. Let's make this game last 2 hours. Well, Killjardy is now getting crossbows. So, wait, is B? No, I was about to say, there's no way you rush Imperial here. We do have a horseman switch. That's ambitious.
I wouldn't actually mind that too much, but as a start, I wouldn't mind the middle sacred side being captured. You know, like the gimmick of the map.
Well, you mean scouts can't capture? I mean, stand there like he should. I mean, how would you catch this though? B only has cavalry. Oh, that's right.
Oh, there we go. It's like JD when she walks over a sacred site. You just go, oh right, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, like you know the person ignores them being raided on the eco, but then they get the ping from the game, like, oh, that's right, I'm dying. So yeah, we finally have the timer ticking. We're about to, but I mean, it's 10 minutes wait time. Killjardy is going to get a stay of execution here. The worry I have for B is that Horseman is a very adventurous comp for someone who doesn't have farm set up.
I mean, he has deer, he has the boar.
I mean, he
had deer. Okay, he's actually out of there. Okay, good catch. Yeah. So.
He has got, okay, so he's got double boar, right? That's going to be 4,400 food. And then he's got 2 berry patches. So in theory, you can afford 1 pump of horseman, but we know how horsemen work, right? Very rarely does 1 pump do enough. Usually it's like, okay, now you need to build another. The thought process that could allow it is that Killjardy needs the farms as well. right? He may not be building food-heavy units, but he lacks food in general. Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it is a great switch, right, into the composition that Kiljardi has right now, which is rather one-dimensional with archery crossbow, right? So it could potentially work in his favor, the fact that, you know, Kiljardi hasn't been investing into more Camel Lancers. He has gone up to 2 TC though, and he's dropping a market as well because he's floating a lot of gold. But I think it doesn't really matter what B does. Horseman is just a nice way of securing himself, killing Kiljardi's army, and killing the army is making sure that he can never move out to take the sacred side, and it's just be GG anyways.
I mean, Kiljardi's like, I've got walls, you can't attack me. It doesn't matter. He's just going to trade him with horse archers, which is hilarious because like horse archers actually aren't terrible into crossbows, right? Like they are prolonged, but for poke, you're actually going to have higher damage. The problem you got to respect here is called Sultan with Mamluks, which is just going to give him that extra burst. It's just a numbers game though, and the numbers don't lie. They're about to say B1 on the board, Kiljardi none, because at this stage, the only thing you really afford to build is archers.
Archers and Siege is the only option here, and Siege is not going to be doing a whole lot against 40 horse archers and 30 horsemen and knights in total, so yeah, we understand why Rus is the highest priority pick on this map.
Yeah, it's almost like it's ban-worthy, and some players have learned from that, some players have discarded it, and the lesson has been recurring. If you let the roots through, you let it through at your own peril here. I mean, another sick thing that really helped be at a critical point earlier was when he went for the fights against +2 attack, +2 defense. We talked about the Saint's Blessing. That's another interesting thing that people are revisiting with the Rus. It allows you to just cheat the tech upgrades of blacksmithing. You save so much not going for these. I think that also just hurt Kiljardi further in a game where he just had to spread himself so thin. B was able to just be very obnoxious about what mattered to him most, and now what matters most is finishing off Kiljardi. Dive comes in. The cavalry, I mean, where are the lancers? Where is the front line?
They're in queue. They're in queue.
Can we have 5 more minutes? No, I don't think so. B is going to open this up firmly with a win, but don't worry, folks. A best of 7, so some distance still to go. And Kiljardi, as we know, is no pushover, but he just got a firm reminder about why Rus are definitely not underpowered in the current meta. Was there ever any doubt? Game number 2. Of course, you're just going to spin rush. We hop into Dry Arabia, HRE in the hands of Kiljardi, and beat on those Malians. Appropriate that we've got Cal on the line, a civ that he knows and loves. His brethren, his siblings, they exist here. But he might be about to watch them die, because HRE with the opener can usually do a lot of damage. The good news for me, the spawn may have been generous to him. We have not got a double pit mine on one screen conundrum. So if the HRE do go for that outpost rush, B will at least have backup options.
Yeah, and as we talked about, this is not a good tower rush map. Or tower rush spawn, I should say.
No. It's...
If you were able to actually get 2 gold wins with one outpost, then yeah, it would be. But here, I think you just invest into 2-3 spares. 4 is too greedy. But if you can go up to 3, I think, confidently. And then you're actually able to torch the pit mine and get a house and fall back. And remember as well, like the Spearman Rush actually does have a little bit of an effect as well, because you can do what Fade. Oh,
that's smart. I like that from B. This has been something that's been missing, and every time it's missing, I hear the player in reflection say, "I should have just built an outpost." So this is very important because the other choice that a lot of players have been making against these outpost Spearman Rushes that can happen to Malians is to build the Saharan trade network. And you kind of feel dumb for it afterwards when the alternative was just build an outpost now for 100 wood and then get 75 gold / stone each minute eternal. So really smart read by B. The only awkward part I do see when you have to play this Dark Age play is unless you want to have 5 villages out in gold, this tower is not going to have a lot of firepower.
It's still going to have a little bit of an impact though. The problem is we need to see if it just deters Kiljardi or Like
I mean, he's
So-
4 spears in already. It's not.
yes, it's 5 even. So this is way past where I think the greed point is. So what I wanted to allude to earlier before we saw that tower is like the thing you can do with HRE spares as well. Like you can start pushing the dare in. You can start pushing the dare in, and you also have a really good start to actually be denying pro scouts, which Mali especially loves doing because you get those warrior scouts which actually start moving. They have increased movement speed, so you even want to invest into potential more warrior scouts, even for combat. But the problem that I have kind of with what B is doing here, it's the fact that he actually has to use one villager and idle one villager to actually just be having any use from that outpost. Because if that villager falls back, which is the reason why he's building that mining camp, is he needs a villager out here to actually be using that outpost at all.
Yeah, I mean, like even one feels a little bit lackluster because you can potentially just start to die if you don't know if there's more spears coming. The other interesting thing actually that happened on this map, it's actually a big deal. Kiljardi, I don't know where the scout went and why he hates sheep so much, but neither player on their opening went and scouted the northeast side. So, like, when this outpost rush was happening, I checked like about 30 seconds ago, they both had 7 to 8 sheep. Look at the count now. 5 sheep left for Kiljardi. B, up to 12 now, probably me climbing to about 14. So, a lofty advantage there in an opening from the HRE that's already leaving them pretty crippled on food income. If the plan was pro scouts, Kiljardi might actually run out of food too quickly.
Let me have my copium here, okay?
Okay.
If you play feudal long enough as HRE, you don't need sheep.
That is true, but if you play feudal long enough as Malians, you don't need sheep.
But Mali farms feels bad, while HRE farms feels good.
But Malian milk is tasty, while HRE wheat is dry?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
But wheat is high in fiber diet. Wood is fibery. So if we block B's fiber intake, we win. There we go. Outpost rush coming in. Kiljardi. This is so sneaky. It is so late, but oh, come on. Well, it was genius for a second there. I mean, B is weirdly enough not dealing with it.
I mean, he sees the spears, right? So he knows where the spears are and why he can torch it right now.
There we go. Okay, B's like, oh, right, that's not my outpost. So, wait, he's going to grab the villager.
Oh.
Sick grab there. Kiljardi even forced to cancel straight away. Wait.
No!
Wait.
Oh, scout.
Yeah, no, but why? Why? The spears!
Oh.
Well, the good news is Kiljardi definitely can't go for an outpost again. There's already an archer on the way. But the bad news is that should have been a permanent loss. Wait.
Kiljardi needs to be careful, though.
Wait, he's like, just let me touch it once. Maybe twice. Just
Twice.
a little whack-a-mole. I mean, if he actually had a stable, so he'd be able to die for the kill.
So you know these escort missions, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like...
No!
Wait, oh. All that effort
Mission
to die
failed.
like this.
Mission failed.
And that, folks, is why they usually make your escort target invulnerable these days. Okay, so Kiljardi kind of in a problematic position here. He also seems to have skipped on production somewhere. He's about 1.5 villages behind, not now just 1.
So already we have cattle being produced here, already being popped in as well. And B has been, I don't want to say incredibly greedy. Like, he went for the archer range first. But he has gotten all of the upgrades that he needs, right? He's wheelbarrow finished now, pro scouts now in queue. Double broad axe as well. So B is actually going to be pretty happy. And I think Kiljardi's play here actually put himself further behind than he put B behind.
Yeah, this is usually how this matchup goes against Malians. Like, if you flop one move on your opening rush, you're a mile behind. You start to question, why didn't I just play my economy? My economy should have been better. The reason why they do it is because as you're seeing these farms, you mentioned it already, long term, I feel good as HRE. I build loads of farms. The problem is, that's long term, right? Like a Malian player is immediately going to start rushing cattle and can just tech up much quicker than you can blob farms. So that's like the trade-off logic. That's why HRE usually makes these attempts. I think once he saw the spawn, though, you know, this ambitious tower was an insane gamble. I don't think he needed to go for it.
Yeah. I understand, right? You want to slow them down a little bit. And you had the spears, so the spears move over... Sorry, the villagers need to move over to the other side of the wood line, then the spears are there to already take them out. The secondary wood line's too far away, but... again, right, you didn't have any spares to actually be protecting your villager there, and, well, we saw what happened. So, we actually do have pro scouts coming in from both players here now. Scouts in queue for both Kiljardi, but the problem is as well, back to the point we made, is that warrior scouts are actually faster than normal scouts. And they're able to fight back, so if you actually do end up having like a little bit of a scout war, B just wins.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because it's not just the damage metrics or the movement speed metrics, it's also the healing. It's ridiculous.
But it's half when they're in combat.
Oh wow, well, that's totally reasonable. What is it for scouts when they're in combat? Wait.
I think 3 a second?
Is it? I always feel like it's notably lower than warrior scouts in combat. Right.
Oh, for normal scouts, yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what I'm saying.
one.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's 1 a second.
It's 1 a second versus 3, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the depressing element I think that we still have here. I almost feel like I'd just be okay with regen being completely disabled if you're in combat. And then the warrior scout conundrum is less problematic. I think the counter argument you probably have as a Malian person is, what else do we do with these things, right? Like, if you think about it, warrior scouts are pretty atrocious in the feudal age for combat, normally. Right?
You can have a couple of timings with it. There's certainly opportunity to play around it. Not in this case, though. Also, has the Mansa Quarry been on stone for a bit?
It was on the opening. I think he forgot about it when he went for fortifications, and then just didn't toggle it back. The classic.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the real reason why people just build the Sahara instead.
See, you can just go for 2 T's. Oh, wait, no, that was cold. Oh.
Yeah, that changed.
More towers?
I guess. Like, you know, why don't we just leave on stone and eventually get a castle drop? That'll protect us against all an HRE player dive, you know, because we clearly won our cows. I think it's left just enough room here. Maybe?
It's for rainbow. It's definitely rainbow.
It's B, so theoretically it's possible. With Freeborn. I think the Fulani versus Farimba choice comes down to Kiljardi's choice. Because Kiljardi is giving good justification for Farimba right now. The more archers he builds, the more likely it's going to be that we see Farimba.
Do you go for javelins or freeborn then?
100% Freeborn. Javelins are so bad unless you already have a standing army. I think I talked about this, like what the logical percentile breakdown should be is about 70% Freeborn, Mansa Musafadi about 20%, maybe 25%, and Javelin makes up about 5%. If you had to like pull the highest level of what is viable in game situations. Javelins only make sense if you're already blobbing Javelins in H2. Now, I'm not saying there won't be a player who attempts it. I am saying that that player might get a free queen occasionally, but primarily will lose. And what have we... Well, that was meant to be a secret. We've got an all-in Kiljardi. He's blobbing a lot of horsemen here.
You need to convince me a little bit more here.
He has more ponies than Beak. But, like, it is the equivalent between buying, like, a budget bag of chips versus one of those premium brand of chips. But, like, if you have enough chips with the crap type, they... No, I'm not falling for this. Sofas are going to stop this entirely. I think Kiljardi I get the idea. The timing just feels off here. Horsemen are going to rotate around the back. The Sofas just chop them down so quickly with the 16 base. That was not worth it at all. Meanwhile, the backups have just been stopped by a single Sofa. I'm not really sure what Kiljardi's envisionment was there. Maybe he thought that B was just rushing castle.
If the sofa count wasn't there,
Yeah.
then yeah. If it was warrior scouts, yes. Now B has taken a good fight, and both people are aging up. It's definitely for Rimbo with that based out.
Yeah.
This seems rough.
Yeah, because if this was B building javelins and donzos, I'd be like, okay, yeah, man, Kiljardi's just like gonna get all the relics. It's Sofa. So you're now going for the greedy play after losing your army, losing what really matters. There's gonna be Sofa waiting everywhere.
Yeah, I think the tech timing is gonna hit now, and like B is just gonna be like, okay, cool, and then it's just gonna be sending like 2 sofas to each relic.
I mean, look at the timing as well. Those veteran seeds, you have to remember, do come in very quick for the Malians. It's only going to take him a mere 30 seconds. That's worrisome in itself. I mean, Kiljardi, he is at least blobbing spears, but you're blobbing spears into an opponent who's already built archers in the first place. This is not looking good for the Finn. Finn, who I think based on recent tournament performances, I don't think BMI is saying Kiljardi should be slightly favoured, but he's going to find himself in a very uncomfortable position at this rate because he's going to end up 2-0 down in a best of 7 this early.
Yeah, it's not ideal. He's still making units. He's making crossbow lancers, which I'm not 100% against, but I would actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's that classic of, when you think about how often we say French arbitraire OP, like, yeah, but why do they keep building knights? It's like, because one knight is worth a lot more than one arbitraire, right? Yeah. Damage it can do on its own, presence on the map. The problem you're seeing is exactly here. It's a miracle that Kiljardi got 1 relic home, because he just doesn't have mobility, even with marching drills, to move around the map the way that Sofa did.
I don't think that 1 relic is going to make it home in time, to be honest. I don't even know where it's at, but it's... I don't believe you until it's actually at home.
Yeah,
okay,
fine. It's never...
okay, fine.
Nah, man, he's never going to notice now.
Caustic cursed it. But yeah, like, now Kiljardi just needs to... I think it just needs to turtle up. Right, you are HRE, so emplacements are cheaper. So just drop a couple of Springle Towers on your farms, and you're kind of fine, and you can always wall up. Like, he has a pretty defensive base to wall up. Right, farms are already set up. Gold is about to run out, which is why I'm saying just wall in the gold as well. You can even wall in the eastern corner, and you actually have a lot of resources there as well. And you're able to now play a little bit defensive while still making army. But we're still going to have a pretty decent fight there, which actually should favor Kiljardi for a little bit, as Poison Archers and Veterancy has not come through yet.
It's 10 seconds out, though. He needs to drag this back a little bit. The problem is the marching drills allows him to gap close fast here. Feels like B just hasn't brought the full might down on this engagement. Another thing as well, B, infamous for doing this so frequently, he's been waiting. He pulled the trigger, weirdly enough, on Musafadi, but he hasn't even queued them yet. Wait, is this a bait and switch?
Maybe. I mean, Kiljardi has gotten a lot of room now, which I don't mind. Like, making spears against the Malians is not the worst idea. The only real option they have against spears is archers, right? Like, pretty much everything else suck. Because they don't have bonus damage, and, well, the things that, do pretty decent damage is cavalry, which they get countered. So, we now at least 2 relics, potentially, for Kiljardi. That one should be able to get home, should be able to get 3 as well, as it's defending that. So we're gonna have a 3-2 relic split with Reg.
Yeah, so, I mean, basically worth 6.
Damn it. He should be able to get this off.
Yeah, the spears are way too quick to react here. And the sofas are too expensive. You have to remember, like, if this was the Fulani build, B would just ape that, kill the relic, doesn't care. But he can't, because it's Farimba, his economy is dirt poor in comparison. So that's why you're going to see him just go wide. No, Kiljari!
Yes,
You literally
yes,
just spent
yes.
the entire time chasing this army. What? Alright, luckily he'll somehow bypass. Good choice as well. He did go textiles, so he minimized the losses, but Villager Lead is starting to build a bit for B.
Yeah, and that's without 2 TC, right? Like, yes, the way to come back from this Villager Lead is actually going up to Imperial with that reduced Swabia. You're not going to be there for a while, because you need to make army against Malians, because the way to lose against Malians is they have bigger number.
Smash?
Bigger number smash, yes.
Oh, bigger and better number, though. Like, this is the thing about Farimba.
Ooh.
This is what I was waiting for. The Mansa are coming in. So this is what I meant by the bait and switch. Is B built Sofa until it forced Spear. And also he has Archer, which is gonna force Horseman. Well, Mansa and Musavadi love fighting both of those things because of their high melee armor. Oh my god, he's making it even better.
Oh no, like that's the one unit you never want to make. Oh no.
I mean, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know, but you still have a massive Sofa, and Sofa equals Knight.
I think this, by the way, is something that B's been really good at, is really just patience around Farimba. We've seen loads of people just say Farimba sucks, but if you watch B's replays, he frequently delays a choice and an investment until he sees a reason or thinks he's forced a reason.
So, I don't want to say just yet, but I do want to stick on my point that Spears is a really good option against Malians. Because of the fact that you have these Musafati, they don't do bonus damage against these Spears. I don't know how that works out with Mansa, because I've never seen it being played with Mansa.
It's ridiculous because like the logic of this, this actually just counts by building spears, doesn't hold true anymore because of the health. The effective HP in the fight is ludicrous. Like you just saw veterancy, 125, 4 melee base, right? So like for a vet spear who has no damage, that's almost 50% just gone. Now with the fact they both got the +1s, you are losing 50% of your damage on a slow attacking unit while paying the same overall cost. So like it's surprising just how big of a difference that armor made for the Mansa Musafadi.
Yeah, 100%. So one of the things I do want to talk about a little bit as well is that I am not 100% sure that Kiljardi knows it is Mansa, because there has never been a Mansa unit actually being shown yet.
Yeah.
He has never been here to actually scout it. So you might think he's a little bit more forced into playing this style of game because he thinks that B has a much better economy than he actually has.
And by the way, that comes back to the classic issue right now. I feel like I'm trying to give a lecture on it all the time at the moment, which is that Pro Scouts actually loses you something. Even at the highest level, the biggest mistake I see made is people stop scouting because they want the food, right? So if you're busy grabbing the food, on a unit called a Scout, you can see the problem that develops here. Like, there could theoretically be an argument that Kiljardi doesn't even know it's Farimba. Because when was the last time he even looked over here?
Yeah, and surprisingly, Kiljardi is one of those people who actually... I see him actually do this quite often, and I spotted it exceptionally a lot in the 2v2 events, the the EGC Winter Team Championship, is that what he would do is he would take one of his scouts, because he would actually remake a scout, and he would just shift-click it all over the map, and then would just leave it, and just gather information.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that right here, but he's actually going to get a pretty decent pick here, actually. This is a lot of units going down for free.
He's not looking. Big mistake made there, and also just sandwiched from behind. So
he can't even get out.
Was that 9 sofas going down? Big deal. Kiljardi was meant to have to remain defensive. Now while attacking up, he can look to shuffle out here. I mean, the reason he's able to shuffle out is Kiljardi just looks at it and goes, okay, you're clearly raid-oriented, because if you were looking for an all-in, where's the rest of the army?
Second layer of walls coming in. The repair is just going to be buying a little bit of time, but Kiljardi now, look at the amount of different amount of units he actually has.
Good God. Not just that.
He's just spamming. He's going up with Keep as well on this big gold vein and the Sacred side. And actually, these 2 gold veins just complaining a little bit of map generation. A lot on this southern side, so we know where we're going to be fighting for the rest of the game, it feels like. So we're still going to be making it out in though as well.
And will be chased down, so he needs to do as much damage as he can. The problem with Palace Swab is never feels like it's enough. The keep drop though. Kiljardi, this is a bit too greedy. He split his army way too much. And B, the Musafadi reveal comes in. And what a blocker as well. We'll be able to chase this down. Council does come through in time for old man Kiljardi before he gives any resources over. The walls need to come up fast. Now that he knows it's a Mansa Musafadi flood, wood walls are not going to last long.
Yeah, this is not going to be great as well. He takes that fight just a little bit too early. Elite upgrades on these crossbows are going to be coming in. And, well, crossbows OP, but we'll have to see. And here's the Springle Towers that I talked about earlier, why they're so effective, right? Can't really dive the eco too much, because they're actually just going to be taken down. But what does Kiljardi need to make now? He needs to be doing something as...
He's dying. I guess that counts as something. Like, we talked about how hard it is to oppress Palace of Swabia. It's not looking that hard in this game right now. He lost a lot of villagers on that dive. There's a lot of idle time. We're talking about a substantial eco lead to the point that B can now look to mirror an age up. And what scares me there is one of the secret, busted, hidden powers of Farimba that we don't often get to talk about is when you tech to age 4, you can choose a second unit as well.
Oh, actually, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you can do that, right? So, if you do Mansa Musafadi plus Freeborns now...
It's ridiculously effective.
Crossbow don't have bonus damage against either of them, because one is light, the other one is neither heavy nor light. So, unironically, Kiljardi mass Lunchknecht?
Sure. Let me just check my bank account. Oh, I can afford one Red Bull and a sandwich. Who's paying for this?
Oh!
Ah, dude.
That's a Griot Bara.
I think he's dead. This is so hard now. The only reason it doesn't look like Kiljardi's done is because B is doing the classic Malian thing. Attack multiple points, burn through all the walls, kill the economy. The problem you've got here is, like, unless Kiljardi can afford 4 keeps, he can't protect all that economy.
Yeah, and he needs his keep, right? The keep really only secures, like, a little bit of wood. It does deny the entrance, but his entire army is just back now. Yes, he has marching drills, but I don't think he's going to be back in time for this to be particularly defended. And he's even making hand cannoneers, and we often talk about, you know, what counters hand cannoneers, and it's literally just archers. And when you have one of the best archers in the game, hand cannoneers not going to be that efficient.
No, and you know, the other problem here is, like, if he can survive a few minutes, I see the concept of what Kiljardi was doing here. Keep drop the north side, then big 2,400 stone vein to build more keeps. But, like, how this plays out in practice, and like, in actuality, right, is like when a Chinese player goes Imperial Age with a gatehouse nowhere near his farms, right? It's almost become, like, taboo to not build your Great Wall gatehouse on your farms, right? And that's what we just saw there, is, like, it's not just the keep. You talked about outposts earlier, the Springle ones. They don't exist on the farms either. There is literally nothing to actually protect Kiljardi's key ingredient here, which is food.
Yeah, and we're still waiting. I'm still waiting to... I'm, like, having my eyes in the top left corner here now, just waiting to see what will come through.
Oh, man,
so, yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, that's going to be doing great on the 51 archers that's here. But yeah, again, Freeborn would be doing absolutely great here. I would not mind it at all.
I think it's 205 health.
They're ridiculous. And then you get elite army tactics as well on top of that, and you're just like, great.
Which is dumb, because the weakness is meant to be that they have no melee armor, and then they get 4 melee armor from a university tech.
It's gonna be great. I want to see it. So, yeah, this
do we talk about these walls?
Look, you do patchwork when you need patchwork.
Wait, no,
okay.
I know what Kiljardi's doing. He's evolving the game. It's not an RTS, it's one of those tower defense games. You know, the ones where it's like...
line tower defense.
Yeah, because like you have to have a route to your core, but you can make that route complicated. And here come the Mangonel towers. They're like you place them in game, right? Genius. Now, we did just suggest that B is a very simplistic AI that A clicks across the map. But he's playing Malians, so theoretically that could be the case.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a freeborn as well, right? So I think honestly, what B kind of just wants to do right now is like you have these cavalry units. See if you can get a little bit of value out of them. You don't really care about them anymore. Like he hasn't even like has the upgrading queue.
I think you want maybe just a few for Farima. Farima is worth it, but yeah, like mass Sofa into crossbows and what should be spears. There's quicker ways to lose the game, but not many. The Mansa Musafadi, though, we really need to address the Malian elephant in the room. These things are chunky.
Worse than that. Oh no, they've taken a little bit of damage. Let me fall back and go invisible so you can't even find me. And then I'll just heal up.
I mean, the more insane part about local knowledge is like the way I describe it to people is even if you're like going to be revealed, you just activate it. It's just a heal button, right? Because you come out stealth, you heal 25 damage. So like, that's a ridiculous extra value because now at the stage you're so tanky that you're probably not going to die immediately. So you at least get half the heal back. So this unit is closer, like maximum 175 health in a fight. Raw HP. More likely 165, should we say, because you can die before that comes out. But then you add the stats on, right? Like, HRE are probably thinking spears, maybe lance neck. Reducing the damage you take by not just 5 plus 2, add in another 4, we're at 11 armor. He can cap out at 12 melee armor on these things.
As one does.
You know, just regular late game things, really. You know, I mean, if a Desert Raider is allowed to do it, right?
Yeah, fair. And again, right, like the important thing to note here is that crossbows don't have armor penetration in the traditional sense. They just do bonus damage.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't really matter that they get a lot of armor because it's just straight up armor. And crossbows is just less effective. And they have high base damage, which is the thing you need to rely on. And I do not know how Killjardy is even going to defend this tiny little push with his relatively slow-moving army and lack of static defenses. And this is not even everything.
Okay, hear me out. Killjardy walks over. He's like, "I have you now." You just press Q. B, just press Q.
You're too close. You're too close to enemy units.
No, you're not.
No, you can still see them. You can still see them.
All right, he actually got the heal off that we talked about, though.
Oh my god.
Anyway, he's still going to just break out. This is painful to watch. Killjardy, all this effort, and remember, there's still a win condition ticking for B. These things are obnoxious. And it's going to get even more obnoxious. We have Freeborn coming in mass. We have bowstrings on the way. Bowstrings is very interesting, actually. I think with precision training plus bowstrings, these hand cannoneers are not going to feel very valuable.
Yeah, again, I would rather want to see Launch Connector because they would actually do more damage in total than a hand cannon against poison archers at this stage in the game.
So, I in some ways agree, but like I understand the reluctance because of what you mentioned here. Right?
Oh yeah, 100%. But what are you supposed to build? Like the ideal composition against this is
mangoes, like
mangonels and ribaldequins.
You literally just make sure you have outposts and you build 8 mangoes and get the crossbars. I think that is literally the only way that he's getting out of this corner. But hear me out. That's going to slow the game down, and the longer you slow the game down, the more a Malian player like looks at the trade post. Like the trade post to Malian players, like, you know, a long time ago Malian's always done the trade, right? And it's like a long time ago you had that relationship that you eventually came to realize was toxic for you. But every once in a while you think about the fun moments, and that's like Malians in a long game. They keep looking, and eventually they know they're going to run back into the arms of the person they shouldn't. And it's going to feel good. Actually, I guess that's not a fair metaphor, because once the Malians do have that trade on, it never actually stops feeling bad. I've got it. The complete metaphor, Cal. You know what it is? It's like, in small quantities good, but most Malian players say this trade's really good and build 140 of them and lose. Sorry, did I just give you flashbacks to a bad relationship?
Yeah, I did.
Well, looking forward. No, I can't even justify it, man. Like, he's... So, this is confusing me a little. Kiljardi is going for incendiary arrows while going hand cannoneers. I mean, he has got the crossbows, but against Mansa Musafati, I can't help but feel Serpentine Powder is more important.
I mean, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong, but the problem is these poison archers. Right? Also, build your mill on your farm, please. Thank you.
Nah. Maybe when we add the 8th one in.
Maybe. I think this is just going to be like one big fight, and it's going to be GG. Like,
yeah, definitely. It's like the issue for Giljardi is this comp is not friendly to arenas because it's relying on hand cannoneers and siege. So he can't afford to lose. B, funnily enough, can. You don't know why? I just have to press one button, right? Like the military festival, once you stop on the late game, I think people have started to realize it's Malians. The Griot Bara is just so much better than 4th Huntress. It's ridiculous.
And with this as well, like these mangonel shots, they're not doing anything as well either, just need to protect them. It might even be able to take down a couple of poison archers, but then that, what is able to take, like now, okay, they're...
I mean, he's almost got a mango kill. B just doesn't care though, he just simply bodied the engagement. The irony is that was not stealth running, that was just Freeborn getting into position. So the entire ranged army was wasting their time on the worst possible thing here. Kiljardi steps up and immediately gets put in his place with only 4.5 minutes left on that clock.
I mean, Sacred Side, oh my god, no way.
Get that man an after-death commendation there. Kiljardi.
Medal of Honor.
Saluting him for the rest of the game because B, although he's still ahead, Kiljardi just got a completely unexpected lifeline.
Look, the game might be over, but it's not over in 4 minutes.
20 minutes longer.
That feels like a mental win for Kiljardi, where it's like, I got that.
It shouldn't happen.
I now am in a pretty decent position.
Let's be fair about this. He has got Regnants, he has got 3 relics inside. He can build more mangoes.
He can always build more mangoes, and he is building more mangoes. The big scary thing for me is he's probably only got a single siege workshop, which I think is the one right in front of you. Now the question for me is, though, he's just going to add in trade. He does have the Griot Bara to remass very quickly and take a good fight. But now we're actually getting into the point where a lot of this is actually looking pretty good for Kiljardi, because he doesn't have that mango mass, even though he got the upgrade.
Man, I'm starting to feel a bit sheepish about this for me, because this is really bad. I don't know why he thought he could step up this early. He didn't really expect the crossbows to come in, I think. So B just needs to calm down. You mentioned that trade. That's not even started yet. When it's going to enjoy the sheep blocking you. This is a problem. I don't think this spawn is good for trade, because B made this his win condition. The Sacred Site next to the trade post gives Kiljardi a very linear direction to move in to stop B's next step. And the Horseman mosh pit begins. No biology, by the way. Like, he's doing all this damage before having bio.
I mean, one thing I do want to shout out, by the way, is B, just looking at your upgrades, beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen it in my life. Straight bar across everything.
Yes. Wait, is there any tech left? I think he may have... Oh, no, come on, boys. We've got to get the lead techs. Anything that he is interested... We even have core architects on the way.
Biology, yeah.
Yeah, no biology. Screw cavalry, I guess.
I think at this stage in the game, like, if you have the upgrade for the sofa, you just make a couple of sofa and then just, like, have them in the army and just, like...
They're a support unit. Like, I think he needs it as well. Like, if he actually doesn't switch to Farima leadership, he's going to lose the next fight because of the mangoes. Like, the mangoes are going to carry for Kiljardi.
Zerg mass that is coming in right now for B.
I mean, you say coming in
Okay,
their
sorry.
own house.
Has been standing there for like a while.
Yeah, but like the dumb part is Killjoy just lost like what 15 horsemen, but the dumber part is that B, instead of doing some with his army, is running around in circles to the Benny Hills feature.
Why is C... Wait, we're 37 minutes in game, and why is there a TC being added?
It's a garrison, and
they don't go stone. And but the thing that I have is that yes, you're against Swabia. But
like, why not just trade?
Yeah.
I mean, he has got a lot of gold, maybe. That's fair. But yeah, I guess I can sort of defend the logic from B, and it's because you're now playing out the mid-central resources. There's a bigger risk you lose villages, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's about massing your villagers and replacing them quickly when you've actually been using them, because again, right, there's nothing inside of your walls / base anymore, right?
But
you're only
right.
So you're always going to be losing some, like you're going to be keep dropping soon, you're going to be building these towers, so you want to be replacing these villagers. But now, I mean, the siege mass here for Kiljardi needs to be defended. Hankana is actually doing a pretty good job, all things considered.
He needs to do the second wave though. The Mangoes are going to have to pull back here, and that tiny bit of wall might cause a little bit of a problem here. So Hankana stand their ground. New wave of horsemen are in. Mangoes are getting the reloaded shot out.
Oh.
B though, I mean, it's just blobbing numbers, right? Kiljardi needs to keep pumping. If he can't get these troops to the front line fast enough, he's going to lose the siege mass. So he's going to be able to stabilize though. Yep.
That wall is actually working in Childred's favor. It's working in his favor because the bombards can't target them.
He overextends, lose both of them. I can't believe that. He's just hiding behind it like a dirty little rat.
Oh, I mean, I don't think there's enough here though. I think he's running. He's not able to replenish faster. Look at B. He's on 190 pop consistently. Kiljardi was down to 120 there for a little bit of a second there as well. And
no, and there's a bigger problem here. Kiljardi is griefing himself. He didn't get biology still, right? Like this, it's crazy the difference it would have made for that front line. The extra time he needed would have been there if he just got the Unitech. So now you got to ask the question, is this intentional or has he simply forgotten? He's forgotten.
No.
So we're switching into men-at-arms against mass gunners and Mansa Musafadi.
Look, okay, I'm excited to see how this front line will fare.
I'm not.
Because I just want to see it.
I mean, that's like saying, wow, Cal,
look,
I'm really excited to see you.
I just want to see it, okay?
I mean, that's like me saying, wow, Cal, I'm really excited to see you take on Mike Tyson in the ring next week. Right? We shouldn't be excited about that. No matter who wins, it's a sad time. But also, we secretly know it's going to be brutal. I mean, the men-at-arms, there's literally nothing on the field that they counter.
The archers?
He's doing it because he wants... Wait, what archers? Oh, there, yeah,
three of them.
That's true. And they can beat the Imam, that is true as well.
Okay, but here's the thing as well, right? It's... Oh, there's biology as well. Okay, so we're getting biology. I wonder if there's a little bit of thought process that, like... Wait. No, B, you're not going for that trade line.
It's the only one that made sense. This is what I was waiting for him to do. He has to. It's less likely to get blocked than this one.
So, okay, that's fair. But okay, so back to the man-at-arms. So I think it is more against the Freeborn than a Mansa. If he is able to get a pretty good A-move army with the Hankanoniers behind it, I don't mind it as much actually, because they're able to soak up a lot of damage.
Okay, but here's my counterpoint. At a time where he finally remembered biology, he has switched to another unit, which he does not have the tech for. He doesn't have any army tactics. And that is not cheap. For a guy who has 500 gold income a minute and has chosen to build men-at-arms, you have to ask the question whether he can ever even afford it.
And he's able to get a little bit, sees the trade as well, right?
There are keeps here, so the horseman will be able to do some damage. I mean, they seem to be more fixated on the mangoes instead of the trade, but it's info gained. So
it is like back to the man-at-arms though. I think it might work in his. I think it might work in a little bit more in his favor than you think, because like the Janissaries, right? He's scared about the Janissaries versus horsemen. Like that's where he's scared, right?
You mean the gunners, yeah?
Yeah, gunners. Sorry, yeah, engineers, whatever. I think that's where he's scared, right? That's where his concern is, and man-at-arms against Mangonel does do pretty well, can tank a little bit here, and this fight is actually not looking too bad for either side. I mean, decent trades, and never mind, all the max.
Kiljardi, I mean, he lost it all in the back line there. That's the Siege Works difference. He didn't have the Unitex. This has been the deciding factor in this game so far, as Kiljardi time and time again, despite his best efforts, finds himself a critical Unitech behind. Now, it looks like he's starting to break through the front line a little bit. But after you reset this mosh pit, what matters more is that one player can afford to replace all that siege a lot quicker than the other.
Yeah, I mean, Siege was taken down pretty heavily as well, right? I think he's even going to be losing more Siege behind this B. Mangonel is still being shot here as well, but now we can see, right, these trades that's coming in is not the most ideal, as there's just man-at-arms flooding in and being taken down. 24 man-at-arms in queue right now for Kiljardi, and, well, more Mansa Musafati on the map than we've ever seen before. 44 now more in queue. Freeborn as well, not looking too hot right now, but Sacred Site still has not been taken out. Like, Sacred Site is not going, right?
No.
Trade has been started, and trade realistically for Kiljardi at this point is unreasonable due to the fact that the map control, and I think even the bottom side for Kiljardi is just completely walled in by stone walls even. Yeah, so good luck moving out to any trade. Like, you can maybe start trading to the northern post. I wouldn't be very...
How did he... I mean, the fact he got this wall up is ridiculous. We have a bit of a problem, right? It's like, I think this is still going to be a very long game. But gradually B will grind down, because the problem is I think Kiljardi has been fighting better from a much worse position. He's been behind on techs, he's out macro, but yeah, every time he at least survives and actually gains some ground off these fights. So there is kind of a problem here for Kiljardi long term, is like, despite the fact that I'd say he's actually doing better than B in these fights, we are talking about AoE4 that is, like many RTSs, quite eco-centric. AoE4 to a high degree is eco-centric, and you do not have economy on your side. So Kiljardi has limited time to take true control of this game. Oh, come on. This is what, really? Oh, he has got...
shall not pass.
I mean, he's got wood reserve. This the depressing part is, like, the wall is actually skating. I'll never understand how wall can see people, but... I mean, Malians are essentially Wakanda, so maybe they just had cameras hundreds of years before us.
Potentially.
With a central security system. Doesn't explain everyone else, but at least gets us over that initial hurdle. So,
I mean, siege units that has no human element to it takes population space and
right?
It's a house. So,
guys, we always actually thought that AoE4 took place in the past. What if this is one of those post-apocalyptic futures where tech resets, but you have like some leftover tech? Like, for example, we still have drones, which is how mangonels work, and like they have 3 operators far off the battlefield, looking at screens controlling.
Sharkan actually has a good point though. Like, Siege of Crew, you can see them when unpacking and packing, and they have voice lines.
Wait a second. Can we see him? We got to drill this time. Let's see how...
Yeah, it needs to be when they're unpacking, but you know, Mangonel's unpack instantly now, so...
Wait. Here we go. This is a tiny win. Come on. He's actually going to use them. Now.
Okay, you can see them there. Instead, we got a front row seat seeing them taken down.
I have many questions about why that just happened that exact way, but Kiljardi is once again getting some freebies. Needs to as well. He's still got a lot of keeps to do.
And well, Mansa Quarry on stone right now, right? Passive stone income. There's no more stone left on the map. Can get passive stone from the rest of the game. Perfect.
You remember how several minutes ago,
No.
actually it was more than several minutes ago, no, you don't remember because it's been 47, how we talked about the tower defense game being played here? Apparently B took that personally. He thinks he's a better TD gamer. We've got outpost, keep. Cannon placements everywhere. Ironically, Kiljardi is now the AI.
So, I mean, surprisingly, I've actually been playing, or have played Bloons TD battles with some AoE 4 players, so it's not completely out of the picture. But yeah, like this is where you just bunker up, right? You have such a one-dimensional army from B, and you're able to have this just one-dimensional army for B because of elite army tactics, because of their Firimba choices. I don't see how Kiljardi can properly fight this without B kind of just moving into the base, kind of forgetting to click A move and just dying to a bunch of cannon towers. But look at this, like the Monster Musafati, they're just tanking a cannon to the face and they don't care. Well, they kind of care if there's two of them, but you know, they have dental insurance once.
I mean, you know, just pick up what's left. Like, you know, if a cannonball takes out one of your Mansimus Fuddy guys, just pick his arms up and run with it. I mean, they're at that point where there's so many, it just doesn't matter. It is all about bodying, right? And the problem I see in these fights for Kiljardi is the thing he actually needs here, desperately, is hand cannoneers. The horsemen are doing nothing because they can't reach the gunners. This is the ridiculousness of the melee armor, right? It's like, the army tactics, I mean, some people had issue with the health nerf. I actually kind of like that they leaned it this way. But we're seeing that there are certain outliers to the balancing that may be overlooked. And Mansa Musavadi in the late game is a pristine example of that. 12 melee armor on a unit that only costs 80 resources. What does Kiljardi do? Like, he has to go hand cannoneers. There's literally no other option in the arsenal that's going to feel good. Like, archers at this point is not feasible either. There's just no wood left for him.
I would not mind at this stage in the game Inspired Warriors.
Okay. So congrats, we've now given our horsemen 4 melee armor.
No, on the hand cannon specifically.
Oh, okay, I was about to go. We still don't make up the difference. Hand cannon is, you kind of need it actually because the gunners hit for more by default, right? Like it's 38 versus 41.
Look, don't forget Inspired Warriors works on Siege as well.
True.
So, Mango Shot, backline, kaboom.
This is a great plan.
But opponent has 20,000 in bank.
Well, yep, that's part of the. But it's not that the opponent has 20,000. Sometimes you really appreciate the differences between people when you measure both of their bank accounts. Yep. How am I affording hand cannoneers, and then also prelates on top of that?
You take a loan.
Oh, okay, got it. So what we need the devs to do is allow us to install the Medici Bank DLC early, and then...
Oh wait, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Oh, are we?
No.
I mean, use the custom civ created by Hussein.
Oh yeah.
That is introduced in the Medici Bank, and then you take a loan of 10k gold. Kiljardi's back in the game. We figured it out.
Small loan of 10,000 gold.
It's a tiny loan. I mean, maybe B will give it to you. I feel like that would be the best trolling mechanic if you could, like, intentionally tribute loan your opponent resources, and then they have a certain amount of minutes to pay it back, and if they don't, something kind of... I don't know. A giant appears on the map and starts breaking your legs, right? Like, some sort of loan shark element. Your units start defecting. Oh dear. This has kind of reached the point where Kiljadi should have waved the white flag several minutes ago, and now he hasn't. It's like someone who spends 8 years of their life trained to be a doctor and then ends up having to be like, you know, a shopping assistant. They're like, why did I bother? This is where Kiljadi's at in this game. It's like reached the point of I spent almost an hour of my life on this.
Yeah, Kiljardi is not a player that GGC's league.
There's so many cannon emplacements as well. Horsemen are ambitiously attempting a decap here. Unfortunately for him, B sees literally any move you make. Wait, is he like
every move you make, every step you take.
No, we can't do his songs these days. Wait, B, like that. Those poor villagers. I don't think he even gets them all off in time. But it doesn't matter. I think the bigger issue is Kiljadi looks like he's going for a landmark victory. I don't think that's enough. If he was China and these were fire lances, maybe.
I like it.
I'd like it more if he had the Griotbara. Well, here we go, folks. Lock yourselves in.
For a start, I don't know if the Mansab Quarry will actually go down. Does he have the attack? Does he have the repair tech?
He has banker repairs.
Oh,
We have got military festival though. And I mean, the Kiljadi is just gonna leave when this is done. It's obvious, right? He has nothing in reserve. His remass is gonna be way too slow. Oh,
I don't even think he's close to winning in the middle either, right?
No.
This is just like...
He's literally just being held back by Siege.
Siege and Jeanne is here. Oh.
Well, this is the type of game that you really wish you could forget about when you've still got potentially many games left in the series. Well, you want to. I'm hoping this doesn't just tilt Kiljadi because I'd be annoyed with the way this game played out.
Banker repairs as well. Even if you kill one landmark,
the other one's just
I'd be surprised if the Mansa is almost done. Look at the speed of that thing being rebuilt. Is it TC still full? I think the TC is yeah.
I mean, it's
What's repairing it? Wait, what's? Oh yeah, no,
that was a weird UI bug. I don't know why I done that. But yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the interesting part is core architects kind of griefs you in those situations.
Yeah, I was about to say core architects. Yes, of course.
But you know what? We mentioned way too many university techs. Kiljadi can't afford any. GG gets called. It's now 2-0 in this series. I'm hoping Kiljadi can find a way of staging a comeback. But right now, B is on a blitzer, and we just watched the HRE fail to blitzkrieg, which is never a good sign. Let's get ready. Game number 3, B versus Kiljadi. We are going to be on Lakeside, the map that offers you one small deep water fish. Can I have more, sir? No, that's all you get. Japanese for Kiljadi bodes well, because French have a horrible time historically against this Civ for a number of awkward reasons surrounding the ponies. Water might change things a little bit. Cal, we were just talking about how there has been a nice little buff to the French in the efficiency of their dot play now being houses as well. Is that really going to be enough to overwhelm the Japanese, though?
I think so. I actually do think that the boosted eco that you actually get here is enough. So the thing is, like, you'll never go with the Chamber of Commerce in this situation. Like, you will never go, like, not on Four Lakes, not on Lakeside. I think the only one where you can actually kind of go it is Waterholes, but let's not talk about that map. So the thing is, like, you make a couple of knights, and knights deal okay-ish with Shinobi if you micro them well enough. And B is a micro player, so that is definitely possible. And if you are caught off a little bit with Japanese tech timing, you just make a couple of horsemen delay their Unamusha long enough, because that's what they're going to be making. And then you just age up, make ARBs, and ARBs are OP.
I agree on the arbitrary being the eventual way French can win this, but the way that French typically lose this matchup is before that even happens. So the thing we have to keep an eye out for is Japan is going to fast castle. They always do. With that fast castle, the initial mount samurai are problematic for French to deal with, and as you mentioned, the Onimusha follow-up is frustrating. Now, the reason this isn't a problem is because although you could immediately go up the tree and hold your base, you will then not have map control. You will forfeit something. And one thing I have noticed about Lakeside is one forfeiture which is unacceptable is gold. We're talking about 2 civs that make or break themselves on access to gold. Now, you do have that safe 4K behind, but overall, like, while 8K gold sounds like a lot for, I'd say, at least half the civs in AoE 4, these 2 are never happy, right? These are like the Schmeagol civs of AoE 4. It's never enough gold on the map because all they want to do is pump into units that drain the coffers instantly.
But it's worth noting, at least when we talk about the gold, it looks really bad with the gold being in front. But if you click on the town center,
it is in range.
Yeah.
And that's great for feudal. But when you're talking about mounted samurai or castle knights, right, that's where the transitional point is awkward. And we do have the Koka Township build. I mean, I really rate this build highly. The thing I love about the Koka is Kura just doesn't give you options to do anything, right? Like, Kura is good until you're conk. Once you're conk, you mentioned, like, B liking the micro earlier. Kyochai loves his microing as well. And if you are good at microing with Shinobi, it is insane how big of an advantage you can make in the opening phase of H2. Did we get predictions up, actually? I don't think we did.
I'm not sure.
No, let me
Actually,
fix
one
that.
of the things I'm trying to think about...
Oh, wait, no, we did. Okay, we're good.
No.
We're good. Subsidy 02, thank you for the bits, mate. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to think if there's ever a world on Lakeside where Shinobi will actually be denying the dock.
If you transport ship. But that sounds...
I mean, you gotta walk all the way along the edge of the map.
I mean... Okay, hear me out. Transport ship Shinobi actually sounds better than I want to admit.
Okay, so you build an early transport ship so it's ready in Dark Age.
Yep.
Then you immediately send it over, and then you deny the dock before...
Theoretically, before they get the first boat out. But the catch is, what I'm saying makes it decent, is if they get the boat out, but you wait for the second Shinobi, actually. If they get the boat out, but you have 2 Shinobi, you just ungarrison, sabotage, get back in. Right?
This sounds so stupid, I love it.
I mean, it is dumb, but it's like dumb in a good way, because a spinal ship does 35 damage per strike, a transport ship has 400 health. You can delay the dock long enough that you can then get a follow-up boat out to kill the spinal ship.
And there's no bonus damage as well.
Yeah. So that's the whole logic, is like there's no bonus damage. If you just try to Shinobi into a spinal ship, you're going to die. But the spinal won't be able to shoot you, because there's no hold fire button. So even if you're good at micro, you can't wait until the transport ship unloads and then turn for a shot. We're not going to see the transport ship, but for anyone who's crazy enough, you now have your theory crafted. Good luck.
It's so dumb.
That it might work.
So wait, so what is B actually doing with his ships there? Is he... No, next to the neutral side.
Oh, yeah, he pulled his fishing away because the archer ship timing. It's pretty smart, actually. Like, we talked about the value of these docks, right? Like, usually this would be very expensive, but you need a house, right? So building this dock isn't as bad because instead of, spending 300 collectively, now spend 200 compared to Kyochai setting up 1 dock for 150. Oh, Kyochai, why have you done this to yourself? I'm just realizing that instead of going for the greed, he really is intending to play the water game. Which is awkward, because although the opening of water is really good for Japan, right? Because you pay less for fishing boats. French has this interesting detail that usually gets overlooked about their water, and it's the cost of a spring ship.
Alright, it's a little bit cheaper.
Hey, what? It's 35 resources cheaper. which is a very interesting number considering how much you save on a fishing boat being funny. I mean, it sounds nitpicky, but like if the game turns into a long feudal water, it is an advantage that scales. It's also about timing. Like B realistically should always be able to get his spring ship timing out quicker than the Japanese because it's cheaper.
It's also about being able to make knights, right?
Yeah.
We only have a singular knight. We have 2 shinobi. I kind of lost track of that knight, unfortunately.
Wait, what?
Hey, B, you have a
Yeah.
little idol there. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely come and retrieve this villager. Maybe, like, maybe, I don't know, Jeanette here should walk out and hold his hand so he can find his way back to the TC. It's very important.
I was trying to think for a second there how I could do a Japanese accent while speaking French.
And also not be racially charged, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you just try to combine Widowmaker and Hanzo, and then it's like homage to Overwatch. But yeah, I'm not even gonna try it.
Ooh,
Nice hit there.
really nice damage up there.
Yeah, fishing boats on both sides, so kind of stagnating this area. The bigger problem is like B is fishing, and Kiljardi is not. We do finally have activities coming in from the Shinobi, so nice grief to block the demo follow-up. You have to remember, this is the other cool thing about what B done. He's supplemented his docks, so the Shinobi play isn't as effective.
And I don't think that second dock was ever scouted. I think he might have an idea about it, that like it exists because of the amount of ships.
I'm pretty sure that Kiljardi just basically... You'd think you go through the center, but you mentioned earlier the TC placement for the gold. It's also the TC placement for the cliff, right? So you have no reason to come here instead of just going all the way around the back. And there we go. Okay, I don't know what this knight spent most of his time doing, but he did mop up in the end. I believe the Shinobi has once again gotten away.
And like, an interesting detail as well, right, is that if you have this, if you have that knight on patrol, it will never be hitting that Shinobi. Because A-click and patrol doesn't work on disguised villagers.
True. So you just have this kind of awkward distraction. I mean, it's quite crafty because it's all the focus on water. However, that focus on water has gotten B a win. He's blocked out the fish now. Kiljardi does have his tech up on the way, but something that you really need to be cognizant of here is the fact that he only has, what, 9 sheep, make it 8. And because he went Coca, he won't get those farms for free to make the transition easier. This is looking okay for B. I think he made the right choice. You can see he was stockpiling the whole time. This is kind of wacky. Going Guildhall, so instead of B trying to contest Kiljardi's strong point in the game, he's like, I'd be starting from 0 without knights. I'd rather just try and survive what Kiljardi's going to do, and then just get that very organic Imperial play that French are known for.
Let's see what the choice of production is for Kiljardi.
Wow.
It's going to be a Sable.
I mean,
Wow,
that's
actually,
so unique. We've never seen that before. Nope.
main problem I have, surprisingly, is the position of this stable.
Yeah, it's very inefficient. He built back on the berries,
And,
but...
well, that's also an issue I have. Sir,
Wait,
sir,
wait,
sir.
I was about to question the depth perception of Kiljardi. It's all good, though. He's got it in there.
He's old.
Yeah, I mean, you know, probably squinting at the screen. I mean, he's very old, so he's actually probably using one of those 4:3 ratio monos.
I actually have to give a little bit of credit to Kiljardi. He actually has a sick gaming setup.
Really?
Yeah. He bought a new PC after King of the North.
Damn. I mean, it's probably the second best game PC we've seen in the last year, but damn, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, now we're going to see how effective B's defense strat is going to be here. We talked about the issue of going arbitrary. The good news is, Kiljardi right now is doing the worst possible thing, which is trying to monkey noise into the main base. What he needs to do is read this play by B for what it is, and just focus on hoovering everything off the map. It doesn't feel good because the scary part about doing that is you are inviting a late phase of the game on a civ that does not have crossbows. But there is a window where if you hoover relics, maybe even go 2TC, you will be able to breach into his base. Just whatever you do, don't build on a Bigisha.
But what about the Bugattis?
They're fast to die.
I hear fast.
There was still that game I watched between, I think it was Voldemar and Kiljardi, where Voldemar was playing French. He built mass Arbalest with Gambesons and then still lost Ona Bigisha. So, you know, anything's possible. A bit of a raid there. I mean, you get a worker kill. You need more than that per night. You have to remember that over time, the French are building an economical advantage. On top of that, I mean, B, how many fish are we getting now? I would love to see him just transport ship and dock drop the other side to snatch that away. Because we're sitting at 6 fishing boats right now. Wait, has B's been missing TC production? We have 4 worker kills each side, and it's 43 to 44 workers, which just mathematically makes no sense for 13 minutes in.
It's only been shipped that side.
Yeah, so we've... So he's definitely been missing villages quite a lot, actually. I'm trying to think what the rough maths is. I think he should be like, what, 5 villages ahead by now? So it's probably... I mean, it's 3 seconds, so 9 seconds a minute. Someone can do the maths. Well, like, basically every 2 minutes you missed a villager. You should be a villager ahead. So yeah, he should definitely be about 6 villages ahead.
So, yeah, B is now fully walled up. And, yeah,
You're right there, buddy.
no, I'm trying to come up with a point here, but yeah, we're just gonna be hoovering the map. Killgeorge is just gonna be massing.
Uh-oh. Hello? Good reaction to that B, though.
I mean, they're locked in here, and now they're just...
Kiljardi's on the clock, though. This is the problem. So, if you wanted to find the Civ that I think was hurt most by the Mangonel changes, you're looking at it. You can't play crossbow meta. You suck for it, right? Even if B doesn't Pavis, he'll still win that trade. So, no matter Samurai failing you, your opponent's hunkered down, you're basically going to have to go Mangoes, right? But that feels terrible in Castle Age. So instead, we're going to have this build that I've seen a lot of Japanese players try recently, and let's just say more often than not it falls flat. We've got Horseman massing with Onimusha.
It is the pure Arbitria counter.
Yes.
Problem is, and this is it's such a unique French problem. Actually, Pro Scout is coming in as well now for B as well, so he's actually taking some of those there.
Yeah.
Actually securing them. Yeah, as Don says, Horsemen don't exactly counter French expos, because if you click on those Arbitrias for me, please.
Huh.
Yeah, so the reason that Horsemen counter expos is not because they have bonus damage, it's because the fact that Arbitria or expos doesn't have any armor.
It's, you know how earlier we were talking about Mansa Musafadi? Basically, Kiljardi is having the same issues in Game 2 in Game 3. Right? It's like he's going to find that instead of getting a lofty, it ends up being 24 bonus damage, I think, usually. Yeah, there you go. So you should be hitting for 25. It's only being hit for 20. And also, you're against a ranged unit, so you have to gap close on top of that. Like, it's so frustrating. On top of that, if B just adds in a small line of knights, you're screwed. The only reason B hasn't yet, by the way, isn't because he's just prioring Arbitria. It's because you're worried your opponent's still building Mount Samurai, and knights absolutely suck against Mount Samurai because the deflective armor stops them getting the bonus damage. Oh, and apologies. Yes, it should say best of 7 in the bottom, not best of 5. There we go. Got it. Yeah, folks. We still have potentially at least one more game, but right now I don't like what Kiljardi is doing. This is a little bit better. We talked about the 2TC idea. The problem he now has is he has to blow a crap ton of farms to justify this comp.
So, a big issue for Kiljardi is as well. He has stopped making units for a bit. Like, I haven't seen that number increase in a while. So, it's fine for a little bit. Obviously, the number on top is a little bit inflated due to the fact that, you know, B still has 5 fishing ships still, or sorry, 5 military ships still out on the field. So it looks a little bit inflated. It is a little bit worse than it is, but I am not particularly a fan of Kiljardi's position right now. His eco, how it's set up as well.
Yeah,
and this is why I'm like French on 4 Lakes versus Japan, because honestly, kind of just vibing right now.
I just think the bigger problem for Kiljardi here is he got baited into a water aggro that he probably shouldn't have participated in. He didn't get anything out of it in the end, right? He just lost, he fell further behind, he missed his timing window. Also, this map does just have a very hunkered down TC approach that we talked about earlier. It's helped him. I'm hating Kiljardi's idea here of sacred sites because you're basically trying this on the worst possible civ on Castle Age. This is the only civ, Mongols as well, I guess, that can't drop a castle in Castle Age, which is very confusing when you say it out loud. You'd have to wait until Imperial. So you've now got to hold for 9 minutes without any defensive buildings, which would be a big edge in these type of engagements. I'm a little bit worried. The only way Kiljardi can pull this off is if he can get those rotations.
I was scared. That could have been really, really good for B, by the way.
Yeah.
He almost trapped himself.
How does he do this now? Kiljardi, I mean, he knows that B needs to react to the sacred site. The goal here is you ideally want B to come out at about 21 minutes, at which point he should have Daimyo level 2. He should have probably about 30 farms total. And that's when you can start affording a lot of horsemen. Now, it's still not going to be the cleanest trade, but it is technically a counter. You will need a lot of them, and it does offer up a world in which you can outplay B.
Oh, he's stonewalling.
What? Wait, so he can't be going mass horseman then. There's no way you want to create funnel points for mass horseman. Because you want to surround, right? What? Sorry, Nani? Did I do it right? You just saw mass arbitrary and you're building samurai. Cow.
Is it?
Take your time with this one. So
is it the heads-up play to the mass horsemen from B?
Why wouldn't you just build spears?
Is it the heads-up?
They can dive TCs longer? I mean, this is problematic. The only reason I could think that Kiljardi would do this is he has way too much gold. So he needs to kind of spend that. Maybe wood's hard to come by because, remember, he's got 4 relics, 2 sacred sites. I think this is just so problematic on so many levels though, right? Like, you'd think Adachi Tech would make it good. It doesn't. Adachi Tech gives you +4 damage. Congrats, you've almost overcame the Gambesons against the unit that now is going to hit you in the face for a lot more. It's really problematic. And this doesn't inspire confidence either. Guys, Onabagisha just hate playing against Arbitrary. They can gap close, but then they're hitting into a unit that has 6 armor when their base is around 9. So, yeah, it just feels like Kiljardi is punting units out to try and have an army standing. In an ideal world, his play out of this problem is to go Imperial and start getting gunpowder units. But that's hard to just do.
There's also the investment that is on the stone walls right now. Like, he's put the stone walls in the back of his base, right? So, you know, not getting through there. But where is the siege? Like, look at the mass. Obviously, like, this is lack of scouting from Kiljardi's point of view. But you know that this is how this plays. Why is there no mangonels?
Because he doesn't have the choke points yet. talked about this, right? Like, you need to create funnel points for Mangoes to be good in castle. Otherwise, they're just people on a stick, right? Like, this is once again comes back to, in an ideal world, Kiljardi has an eco lead to go Imperial. But let's really assess how this is truly going to play out. Oh, well, when you look at that, B has got the resources to go Imperial. He doesn't need to sort his gold, but he's sitting on 3,900 food. So, it's probably going to happen in the next 2 minutes. There's going to be a red pounce drop on the Sacred side. For that, though, Kiljardi does look like he's getting towards a favorable fight. Horsemen need to run by. They just need to bypass this. They're wasting way too much time on the front line of B. Better ripple in now.
I don't want to cope too much here, but the mounted samurai, or sorry, the samurai actually doing a little bit and soaking up a couple of pot shots here. But not nearly enough to actually be justified its worth instead of a horseman.
I mean, I think
it's 4 minutes on Sacred Side timer.
Yeah, he's trying to basically just keep B in his base, right? He doesn't want to overcommit because if you dive, you lose mass, and then the decap comes in. Kiljardi is going to win or lose this game based on the Sacred sides. I respect that he's identified his win condition in his eyes and is just playing into it. But this is difficult, right? Like, with what B has seen now, he shouldn't feel too scared to just start pressuring. The arbitrary is still the truly unanswered element of this fight.
Mangonels is the only answer, right?
Yeah. It's
Siege Workshop being dropped on the front as well, right?
It just feels bad because you're going to be building mangonels into your opponent who has horsemen as well, right? Like, I get Kiljardi's reluctance.
That's where the samurai comes in.
Yeah. I mean, you say that, we've got Nobugisha and Trebs and... help! Okay, so this is a big problem. B needs to just rush the gold. If he goes for an imp landmark drop here, I don't know if Kiljardi can actually stop it. He's gonna have to move soon. Like, I'm trying to think how B doesn't win this engagement. He'd have to miss micro. Big.
I mean, it's also the stealth force, right? Kiljardi has no scouts with him.
They both see. They've both got outposts. Start step back here. Horsemen got to commit. That means Onabagisha are getting a good trade there. Arbitrary need to start clearing it all though. Will they be able to? We've got Springholds B. We know he loves these Springholds. In theory, good against the Onabagisha. And good enough. Kiljardi backs off again. He has delayed any sort of approach, but not for long here. He's behind on military now. The timer is down to 2.5 minutes. B now moving southward, putting him further away from Kiljardi's reproduction line.
Should be a super easy deep cap as well. Might be a little bit tougher than you might anticipate, but I think it...
He's hesitating again.
The hesitation is killing him, no?
It feels like Kiljardi is getting away with this because B's assuming there's mangonels? But there aren't. This is the first time they've been queued up. I'm baffled, man. I think B... Yeah, also, these A-clicks in these fights, you can see what he's worried about, right? He's trying to stop the Onabagisha from getting on his arbitrary, but really highlighted. If you actually do the maths, Arbalest lasts about as long as Horsemen up against Onabagisha. Right? Because they have so much armor. So surely it'd be better to get rid of your opponent's backline with the Horsemen that counter them. Instead, we walk in again, and instead, we're up to 6 Springholds. This is happening again. We've seen this so often from B. Games that should seem like an easy peasy win. And the Springhold question mark has once again, time and time again, failed him. Could this finally be the time that it breaks his opponent? Bugisha line's been removed. Onamushi count down to 15. We are a minute and a half away from a Sacred Site victory for Kiljardi. B, able to walk over now. The Mangoes are overextended. Arbalest will going for the trade, but they're diving deep here, and the outposts are not being respected. They're not being cleared.
Relying so much on static defenses now as well. And you can really tell, like, Kiljardi doesn't really know what to do. In that fight, there was 2 Shinobi for some reason.
I mean,
now he just needs to deal with these Springholds, right? Can't really deal with them. They're actually doing pretty effective here.
I can't believe this. He's actually doing it. B, so many times Springholds have lost in games. We've seen it. We've witnessed it in some of the most baffling midweek muster games we've seen. But finally, he has found his counter. All he needs to do is build it against the Sith that is losing to everyone at the moment. Japanese Onibigisha have no shot, no chance against the Siege Mass. B will get the decap. And from here, Kiljardy has absolutely nothing that can get him back into this game.
Absolutely nothing at all. And look at the income as well right now. And quick question. The Guildhall was popped, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Fine.
I just needed to double check. It's now on gold, which means that he's just going to be fully investing into throwing stuff and villagers on food. He's going to get enough gold. He's now just going to be going up to Red Palace after he hits 200 population. Because there's nothing reasonably Kiljardy can really do to hold this. And the siege mass is just too insane right now. The counter to siege mass at this point is really just mass horsemen. But you have so many Arbitria, and we talked about this earlier, the effectiveness that Arbitria has against horsemen is just so unreasonably high.
I mean,
and this is just a slow bleed and a slow burn for Kiljardy to just kind of just think about what he can do in the next game, in the next draft, if we even get to that point.
Yeah. I mean, the idea was to blob horsemen while transitioning siege, right? So the Guildhall was basically your supplement to get horsemen while you're switching to winning gold. I gotta give it a B, man. Like, I've seen him try this Springle strategy many times, and many times it has been a facepalmer. It has been, why are we doing this? But this is the matchup. The irony is you go back to before the siege change. Onibigisha hard countered Springles. They count most siege. But now, they look absolutely pathetic in the face of this anti-infantry unit. Press comes in. Arbless front lining just so that the Springles are going to be protected. And Kiljardy, there's no doubt about it. It's going to be 3-0 on the board for B. No mistakes allowed for the Finn anymore. Otherwise, it's going to be a Finn fast here in the grand finals of midweek Muster A. Let's get ready to see who's going to be better here, though, because we hop into game number 4. And we are on the verge of an awkward 4-0 stomp. B is dominating this series and now looking to close it out in 4 in this best of 7 with the dominant Delhi on Gorge. Kiljardy is here to let you Redditors know that you need to stop making Byzantine ROP lists and posts, because this is going to be a hard matchup.
It's going to be tough. I think we can start out with this is never in a million years going to be Tower of Victory. But if it does happen, I will be very sad. It's not going to be a Hippodrome play just yet. Because, well,
Can it actually ever be a Hippodrome play?
Well, I still think there's room for it, right? Like, with you starting on your berries, like, your opening is mill on berries. It's the most projected strat that exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you don't do that, right? It's still an option to go to Hippodrome and then go into berries. It does delay your mercenary units quite hard, but you don't need your mercenary units that quickly either. And I have a feeling in the group chat that Kiljardy is going to be, what the f***, where's all the sheep on this map?
Yeah, B kind of snaked him in the end. There was a nice cutoff in the beginning. Kiljardy cut him off around the sacred sites, but now you're in an awkward situation. I think Kiljardy is aware of what's happened here as well. You see, he just beelines to the south side. So he will be able to yoink some extra there. Really important he does this because, and one of the many reasons why Delhi is just so stupidly ridiculous is they don't need to come home. You mentioned the berries, right? You start on them, you get to rotate as long as you want. That's why, on average, if you had to like look at the highest level of Delhi games, probably on average seeing 60-65% sheep at least, maybe more. Abba's the same way as well. Like any Civ that's able to start on berries. In fact, I've talked before about how I like the idea of the Japanese starting on berries because you can just rush a house down, get Tawara, and then have a gathering rate that competes with sheep.
Yeah, it also, you know, prolongs the, oh my god, Kiljardy.
Dude! You had one job! Scouting, right? No! No!
How many sheep is Kiljardy on?
He is on 8 right now. B has 17. Oh, 9. There we go. 9 to 17. I mean, in fairness, Kiljardy got a decent amount off the map because you have to remember we're 3 minutes in and he's actually been touching sheep while B has been just diving headfirst into the bushes, right? So,
Okay, but what about touching grass?
I mean, the bushes are grass, I guess? Does that count?
Sure. Yeah, I'll allow berry bushes to be grass.
I remember when I was in Riyadh and I blew their mind when I'm like, you guys need to go outside and touch some sand. They couldn't stop laughing for like a whole minute. There you go. Oh, dear. Dude, imagine you're like a gamer in Greenland. Oh wait, no, it works. So you can be like, you need to go outside and touch some snow. There you go.
I can actually just open the window and touch snow from my window because it's snowed up that far.
Ah, you see, that's interesting because if that much snow existed in England, the apocalypse would happen, basically. You know, everything would grind to a standstill. We'd be screaming, running through the streets, going, we can't handle this. My country shuts down at 2 inches of snow.
We actually had so much snow that trains, the tram, and the airport shut down.
You mean they didn't just try and land it by drift kinging, you know?
No, I mean, there's been enough airplane news in the news recently, so...
You know what the ideal situation is? You have so much snow that it's actually a deaccelerator. You just land and just plow into the snow. Just a big puff. So, sheep pull in the end, by the way. Killjardy pulled off a miracle here. He actually gets 13 sheep to the 17. So what?
I was scared he would. I was scared he would lose it.
Oh, no. That would never happen because, as we know, stupid Delhi players, they never do anything but eat berries, right? Yeah, that would actually been painful to watch. So we are at least going to see Killjardy being able to compete. You mentioned in the pre-draft we get the Limitane opening. Merc House is coming in. Usually if you see Limitane, it's a sure given sign that you're expecting to see javelins.
Look at Beast's unit.
What? Wait, did he scout that? No, I don't... He must have. He ran in range, right? So this is big. If Killjardy saw this, he goes western. Okay, this is the opportunity he's needed actually all this series. He could get a very big one-up over the Delhi in the opening phase of the game. And we'll get an immediate moment of truth here. Yes! Alright, round of applause, folks. Killjardy is not just dead at the start. This is actually really important. The reason I was saying usually go Limitane plus Javs is the logic is if you build longbow spears like this, like the dynamic is you can have a workable comp, like you'll counter Horseman Spear, right? But where Javelin usually feels better is that you build Limitane, your opponent has to build archers, Limitane are then protected by Javelins, right? And you go for the triangle one step ahead. But because Killjardy was patient and scouted at the perfect time, he now gets to be a mile ahead of the Delhi transition.
This is so weird. So, it is pure... This is just weird. Like, I don't understand Delhi. Like, I don't understand B's idea here.
B in this series has done very well on getting a step ahead. Do you remember what we were talking about before? Like, for example, the Malian game, where he queued Mansa Musafadi, and the comp wasn't there for him to counter yet, but he just kept waiting, and eventually it came. He jumped the gun trying to prep the counter, and now he has a comp that would have made more sense with Tower of Victory. Like, Killjardy's patience was the key here. I mean, I say that, but part of it was B also being impatient.
This is so strange to me. Like, why not just opt in for the normal Gazi into a couple pro scouts? Like, he has pro scout queued first.
Did you just ask B why?
I know what I just asked. I'm fully aware of what I just asked. But
that's like asking me why have I got an energy drink in my hand? You know, come on. The guy's gonna do what he's gonna do. This is classic B like logic, right? But you know, it did feel like a bit of a gamble. Killjardy, he has a pristine timing here. Like, you know, at 9 minutes he can contest this army and then tech, which is the big window. You remember that Byzantines, they spike around 9 minutes off of like 10 to 15 lombos, basically for free, plus their main army, and it just allows them to mirror your count and go for greed. Man, this is looking really good. I'm impressed. Sacrifice is going to get capped. That realistically shouldn't be happening. But I think if Killjardy is able to dive in and do some damage, it's worth it at least to give that gold over.
yeah, I mean, it's a great capture timing as well, but...
this is exactly how you can't fight. This is an overextension. Lombos. Oh my god, what is that one doing? But this is well played by B. So the thing about Lombos is they win if they're able to mass, but Kyujari, he overextended before the second group arrived. So B gets exactly the type of fight he needs, and now he can wipe out the Limitane. Scholars are here to assist. Lombos will at least be able to stabilize, but Kyujari has definitely just hurt his timing with that move.
I don't think he was surprisingly going for timing here, because he was investing so much into Lamitane. It was never really floating enough to warrant any sort of castle age play here as well. But Sacred Sites on the south side now is going to be captured. He has greeted out on the deer as well, and he's out on the berries as well, so he's certainly soaking up a lot of pocket resources now. But
so the timing, by the way, is to do with the attack point. You wait for the second group of Lombos, because if you send them in 5x5, the archers just, as you saw,
yeah, 100%.
They just monkey noise you, right? I'm shocked, man. Like, Kyujari, he had everything else lined up correctly, Steeled Arrow, Undermesh, all these things, but he just didn't... I don't think he respected just how slow these guys are. You know, as you can tell, we're so used to standing still in queues in the England lands that we're not very good when it's time to run, right? Like, these units are way too slow for you to play up like that. It's the classic English Council Hall all-in build, right? Where does it go wrong? Why does it not get done anymore? Because at the highest level, people are very good at just waiting until you do something stupid, right? Believe it or not, when we do these Council Hall all-ins, we always do something stupid. And B done a great job of patiently waiting for that. Kyujari kind of made an unforced error, but we are now seeing that transition. Kind of obvious it was coming when you saw him move on to the deer without any horsemen. So Castle in. I would love to see Cistern in the first
Cistern.
Yeah. I think it's a winning condition here.
I think the where he's running is where he's going to be placed.
It's Golden Town. I had a bad feeling this. I get where Kyujari's coming from. Lombos are great to scale. But the opening Cataphract play on a map like this, when you know your opponent is going to want to come out for the berries, could have been the jackpot.
As a counter-argument to that, he's going to be out on the berries if there was any point in taking those berries, because he does have pro scouts, and he is pro scouting, and he has so much sheep.
And I think that's maybe like in Kyujari's mind, right? It's like he needs a pivot point against what he knows is happening for free, because this Civ is ridiculous. He can still go Cataphracts. I'm just not going to expect it. The problem is, the reason why Cataphracts are so good with the Sippy Cups is obviously you're taking a very expensive unit and you're keeping it alive. You can't do that without Sippy Cups. So Varangian seems a lot more likely here.
Yeah, and there's no Gaussimas either, right? So you don't have a lot to tank against or deal with the Varangians in a reasonable way. Like, yes, the Gaussies aren't that effective against Man-at-Arms to begin with, but they don't do bad. It's better than anything you've got, right?
Yeah.
But the slowness and the speed of this being produced as well, like, he has one more batch of longbows coming now out of it, so he will pop. It will also... Oh no, that's actually just the upgrade, so he doesn't even have enough... He doesn't have enough olive oil to do anything.
No, because he went on to the deer, right? This is why I really thought we were going to be getting Cistern. You know, it's just the whole backbone of this argument of how this comp works is it is Lombos, and he lost so many early on. You know, if this was a game where Kyujari hadn't thrown away any Lombos, I could see this working, right? But that fight definitely cost him too much. He has at least got some olive oil gathering going on here, so we'll finally get an extra Q. The Golden Horn Tower timing should sync up. Okay, no, it did. Wait, is it? It is in range, yeah. It's just, I forgot how slow it is. So it's not going to quite sync up. It's got a long way. Sacred Sites in. B is going to be able to tech up. We're probably looking at House Learning here, and that worries me because if the idea here is to just Men-at-Arms shove your opponent, he does it better, right? With enough scholars rushing home blades, Varangian get completely stomped.
Yeah, and you've got a really, really small timing window right here. You have about a minute. Never mind. You have about a minute to actually be able to punish this. And with the amount of with the amount of scholars that's actually being put in research buildings and everything just included, right? It's like the timing window you have is so small. I can't remember the exact number, but at Delhi at some point, I think it's either like 11 or 9 or something. For a starter, your veterancy upgrades are free. And for a second, veterancy upgrades for Delhi is for some reason faster than anybody else's.
Yeah. So right now we're not going to see it because obviously he's got the scholars out in a boot, right, picking up the relics. So we've got 4 relics about to be on the way home. But yes, you can get up to, I think it's like 11 to 12 scholars will get you your tech timing in
A minute 10.
Yeah, it's minute 10. It's ludicrous. And remember, they're not paying for it. On top of that, I love what B's doing because he wants the relics. This is kind of underrated. Pad your timing now by going for a war elephant. You don't want to be, lances. It won't come up quickly. Like, 1 elephant can hold a choke point in your base. Like, the only risk you have here is that Killjoy floods the main. He has to. Because as you mentioned, due to the pro scouts, we are seeing berry gathering at all. The only place that B can be attacked on economy is at home.
And at home is where an elephant is. And look at what is in queue as well. He didn't go Hornblade first. Wait, did he actually get Hornblades? I wouldn't be surprised if Hornblades is like...
Boots first.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Hornblades, if you look at the timing on it, I think it's like a minute or something.
It's 2.5 right now.
Okay,
remember, the scholars aren't home.
Yeah.
They'll be here soon.
So yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if actually Hornblades was already finished at this point in the game.
I mean,
but
it's Delhi at this point. It's just every time we roll our eyes, like, wait, they don't have all the techs already? He's been castless for 2 minutes. Come on. Get it together.
Hurry up already. But yeah, the elephant tech being out as well, and 1 in queue already. He did decap 1 of the sacred side, but the amount of passive gold that we're going to be coming soon is crazy as well.
Yeah, and I think Killjoy needed Limitane. This is wild, right? Like now it's in the Lance come out after he has the 2 elephants to defend. Obviously, you're not going to have crossbows and longbows. Like, this is the weakness of what Killjoy has done with his build. He's left himself wholly reliant on the idea that the Mercs going to protect him from range. And although they can trade out against like the crossbow on the other side, it's left you with 0 answers to the elephants.
Why would you get elephants this early?
Oh, wait, the wall.
Oh, that could have been really scary.
Sadly, that stealth force not quite big enough. So Killjoy will be able to retreat away a bit here. Elephants slow to pick it up. Are now on the way. Remember, they do have the Mahouts. And the shunts are coming in. Remember, these Varangian have less health. They're not that tanky. Killjoy, I just don't see how you're meant to bust some teeth here.
The scholars at the back is healing each other. Oh no, well, actually does lose a little bit here, but this is Delhi in a nutshell. They take 1 good fight, and that's all they need. And remember as well, these longbows, they can't run and kite because they're one of the slowest units in the game. They're slower than anything. I think the elephants are even faster than them at this point.
They're almost slower than the scout. It's ridiculous.
Okay, how quick is the elephant? They're 110.
Yeah,
they're barely faster than 2 elephants.
There's 0.02, but obviously due to the longbow attack animation, elephants can just shunt and move quicker than you. So like if you're like, oh, I can just attack, click, move. No, longbows will still get caught by elephants. It's just depressing. And now we have the counter push coming. And Killjoy, I just don't see any way. He has at least got the olive groves going, which is great, right? But like longbows isn't your solution now. You need crossbow and longbow and Limitane. So then you have to ask the question, do you actually have all the permits, all these resources, right? Do you actually have what you need to get all those things online in less than 2 minutes?
And a big problem as well is, one thing that needs to be talked about is look at the relics. B has 3, Killjoy has 2. But Killjoy put them in his Grand Winery, which means they're producing olive oil, which might seem good, but honestly, what is Longbows going to do against any of this?
I mean, it snipes the crossbows. He needs that for the crossbows. But like the fundamental issue here is the elephants. I'm glad we're finding it in Limitane. Killjoy, in theory, if he gets enough longbows, can win, right? Like that's the logic now that he's playing with. And in fairness, what plays in his favor here is B is slow rolling this. I don't like that B slowed down. This was the time to go in, right? You wiped your opponent's army. He did not have a transition. Instead, B just hunkers down, and not just that, we haven't even got him getting the extra attacks. You totally forgot about the House of Learning after you upgraded the elephants.
Elephants is all you need anyways, right? But a big problem for B, and, well, that is why it didn't attack, right, is Byzantine's ability to just remass.
It's true. With the Conscriptio, they do pump out like crazy, right? And you're already seeing it actually by the raw count of Limitane. Taking him only 12 seconds per. And of course, with those olive groves, he can now afford that long term. I
He
think
was trying to be a
he's-
sneaky too. He's even taking the dare, right?
Yeah, he's snatched them away. I mean, at this point, Killjoy just switching to Olive Groves. But what B can do now, I mean, he could just go for the wall in, Sacred Site cap, and Imperial.
Yeah, that has to be his plan. Look at his queue, and look at his resources.
I mean, he should definitely be adding in extra scholars, right? Like, usually feel better towards 20. I think there's been some slip-ups here by B, like not constantly producing out of the Dome of Faith. He also did have that giant gap on House of Learning. That's now being fixed, by the way. Pate's coming in 1 minute and 10. Not really going to get you close enough to the Lombo straight away. Someone I think that's really underrated for Delhi in this position, but we don't see enough of, is actually marching drills. That is queued up just behind Steeled Arrow, though. So that will give him the rush in to get on top of Lombos if Killjoy's positioning is not chef's kiss.
Forced March is so fun to use. It's just fun.
Right? Like, I kind of like, every time I say, I was like, why don't more civs have this, man? This is like a very interesting high skill ceiling potential ability. Does make Mongol players feel pretty sad, though.
That's true.
Right? Like, congrats. You have to use this dude that activates an arrow that makes you move a little bit quicker, or play Delhi, and any of your infantry, they just have it. They inspire themselves to run fast, you know?
Killjoy, though, is going to be trying to break out of his base. It's a pretty decent army on both sides, but honestly, those army numbers are looking a little bit inflated for B, it feels like. Mostly because of... or deflated, I think I should say, because of both the elephants and the scholars. It's really hard, but we need to take a straight-up fight now. The Mangonel needs to be taken out quickly. Good shot, but Limitane on these elephants, though, going to be taking quick work of them, and longbows as well, being microed perfectly onto the backline as well. Need those down as soon as possible, and yeah, this looks like a pretty good fight, but I think the army numbers speak for themselves at this point.
It's not enough. I mean, the problem here is the war elephants just took so long to get wiped out. So you will at least be able to shove B back a little here, right? But the problem I'm seeing is the exhaustion. It costs him way too much. I mean, you would think that 40 Limitane rushing into 4 elephants would end well. But we've seen it so many times now. It's undeniable at this stage. This unit is not reasonable. The only counter to war elephants is crossbows. Anything else is death, as the mass Limitane just learned. And now, a Killjoy looks like he's about to be killed and put in a jar on B's mantle. He's got barely any standing force. The Sacred Site timer is still ticking. We're already back up to 2 elephants. And next time you fight, the scholars are going to be there patting on the back.
Yeah, that was pretty much the only thing missing. The elephants would have survived if the scholars was there, right? But B was a little bit reluctant pulling all of them, mostly because he still had some text that was still, like some key text that was still missing. And yeah, now we're kind of just waiting to for B to slaughter Killjoy so he can go home and take the crown with him.
And Dive's coming in, trying with Olive Groves. It needs for the remass anyway. 16 longbows, but what is the worth, really? B, okay, we get it. You like Springalds. We understand. I'm not going to give him the credit on this one. But, you know, another cool thing actually about that fight was the C2O shop location. It just stopped those Limitane even getting around efficiently. And now, Limitane are going to be forced to dive into Springalds. Now, Shield Ball will make them a bit more tanky, but nowhere near tanky enough. In fact, they line up perfectly to get penetrated.
The shield wall even work against siege damage?
It's not siege, it's range now. So yes.
Oh, it is.
And yet still, it is completely irrelevant. Oh my god. Well, Killjoy, confident, believed he was just going to run away with this. He even played Chicken Little, said, I want to hide my strats to the big tournament next week, so I won't sign up. He had an opportunity to start this year big with a win. Instead, B is able to come back and bite back in a big way. Remember, guys, we had the All-Stars over Christmas in which actually B fell victim to Louis MT 6-2, in which Louis MT kind of made you question where B was coming from, but this series felt like a little bit of a redemption arc. Obviously not against the Chinese Prodigy kid, but a formidable opponent in Killjoy, and one that he was able to 4-0 sweep like it was nothing.
These spring ults, they're supposed to be weak to range, but the ranged mass is just not there. And even if they walk up, a Mangonel's going to be right there to take them down. Elephants now going to be working on the cisterns, going to work on the landmarks. Most of these olive groves are pretty much idle, and they're going to be making some very, very bad coin. Or if that's what you want to work.
Those grapes have been unharvested so long they've turned to raisins. This is...
Yeah.
There's no way he gets anything back into this. I mean, Kiljardi, back to the drawing board, my friend. I'm just going to bluntly say, I think as this series went on, these games became more and more and more one-sided. The most competitive, arguably game 1 when we really think about it. Yes, 2 was long, but this just felt like annihilation. B is going to make it a swift 4-0. No opportunity for a redraft. And he will be your champion for midweek muster number 8. Now, guys, if you have liked what you've seen here, if you've been enjoying these, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're following. Make sure you check out on YouTube if you haven't caught them live. A lot of these will go up there. Recommend watching the VODs there as well because Daddy Twitch doesn't like to pay us for our VODs, but YouTube does. And make sure you guys go check out Cal. He occasionally does stream. Usually likes to do some team gameplay where you can blame someone else for the win or loss. And
Can confirm.
And I believe, Cal, you're signed up for KPMM9, right?
Of course.
So there you go, guys. Go get signed up. We still have a few slots available. He's there most weeks. You could slay a cow or be slayed by him. There's only one way to find out. I'll see you all in the next midweek muster.